Okay, so let's set up a new listing and send a document out for signatures. So when I first log in, this is my main screen, and I can click on the New Transaction button up in the top right. And I'm going to specify I have a seller. I'm going to pick an example, and I'm going to change this to an example that I can use in my Gmail account. And we can fill this out, and I will pick an address. That'll work. We can import the legal description or read it off the MLS or import from the MLS. And then we can click on Submit to get this transaction set up. By default, it's going to include all the PDFs the forms that we typically need for a listing. Now I may not need the lead-based paint, so I'm going to delete that one. And what we're going to do is start with the square footage disclosure as an example. So on the drop down to the right of all these documents, there are options, and I want to fill out. When I click on fill out for these forms, if they're the standard forms for the state or for my brokerage or for the realtor association, the first time I click on fill out, it's going to auto-populate. So things like the address get auto-populated. It's going to add the logo to the form and my information up at the top. And then I can say fill this out and click on square footage. Now for some forms, the easiest way for us as brokers and agents to sign a document, we can simply type in our name into the account area where I need to sign my name, and it'll show up kind of in a cursive format. And then for the date for my signature, I can pick the date. And that's the easy way to do it. If you need signing verification certificates, then you'll have to do it a slightly different way, which we'll see in a second here. So that's how I can sign my name. Now, if I want my sellers to sign this document, I'm going to click on the button on the bottom right, Prepare for Signing. What this is going to do is bring up what the document looks like for signatures. So here you see a view of it, and then you can start to see signatures in place for the signer. So for this, I just have one seller, and I don't have any buyers yet because I just created a new listing, so I'm not going to see any buyers listed here or worry about that right now. But let's just say if this particular signature wasn't here, or the date, like if you upload a form, you may not have those auto signatures in place. So what you would want to do then on the signer side is click on the checkbox for each of the people, and then you can either drag and drop signatures into place, drag them into place, or you can click at the top and the button will turn blue, and then you can click where you want it to be, and then I can still drag and drop into location. So again, all the standard forms already have this set up for all the sellers and buyers for your transaction. But if you need to add things for other documents, then at least you know how to do that. So once those are all in place, you're going to click on the bottom right where it says Send for Signing. The dot or period just says there's another pop-up that's going to occur before it actually sends it out. So here it's going to show you, based on the Parties tab, who this is going to. So I only had one seller set up. And I can write a note. This is the square foot disclosure, so it's not really super interesting. But if you had some complex forms or disclosures you need to explain, you can do so in this box. So when I click Submit, it's going to send an email to your client notifying them that they have a document to sign. And so if I log in as the client, and so here I am the client, and we just created 459 McCaslin Boulevard. And you can see I need a signature, so they're looking for my signature. I've also I'm the client, and I have a couple other homes that I'm buying and selling. So I can see all of them and reference them here, including ones from like 3-5 years ago, which is really nice. They always have access as long as you have your account. Now, what I'm going to do is click on View Documents, because that's where I want to go to see all the documents for this and sign documents. And this is the client portal. So here's the client portal, and you can see shared with the listing agent, and you can see your agent's photo if they've uploaded. And so if I were to go back, I'm just going to jump back to being an agent. So one thing that you could do here is in the history, you can see I'm the agent, so as opposed to the TC or assistant, sent for signing this document to the seller and who that seller was. And now I can see that my client, the seller, Bailey Test, has logged into the transaction. So I can keep track of what's going on in this history log. The other nice thing as the agent is I can go to parties, and for my client, I can see this little eye icon. And so if I click on this icon, it's going to give me a static image of what my client sees. So now when I'm talking to my client, I could always come in here and say, hey, once you log in and go into this transaction for this particular home, you're going to see something that looks like this, where there's documents to sign. There's going to be one up at the top. It's called the square foot disclosure. That's what I typed in. And I'm going to need you to sign that. So click the sign button. Now for you as the agent, this is not interactive, but this gives you a view of what your client sees. So if I'm going to jump back to now I'm the client, so now I have a document to sign, and as the client, I'm going to go ahead and sign this document. So I'm going to click, tells me where to sign. I can still scroll up and down as the client. Down on the bottom left, I can zoom in and out, so if I need to be able to read a little bit better. And once I click in here, it's going to bring up confirming signing details, make sure my name's correct, the initials, and then I can choose which font. So we don't have them draw their signature. This is just fine. You can pick one of 3 fonts as your signature, and then they click submit. This will take them to any other signatures or initials that they need to do. If not, once they're all done, then for a lot of the forms, you just click submit form. And now it's very obvious to them that they don't have anything more to sign because it's not in the bright orange section, and they still have access to view and download that document from their portal. Now back as the agent, so this is a static image. So if I close that and then go to the eye icon again inside the Parties tab and click it again, now I can see what their current status of what they're seeing in their client portal looks like. They don't have anything to sign, but they can view and download the square footage disclosure that I shared with them. I can also go down to history now and see that not only did they log in and open for signing, I can also see that they've signed that particular document. And as the agent, you'll also get an email notification whenever someone signs. So if you have 3 sellers on this transaction, you would get 3 emails each time one of your clients signs, and there'd be 3 entries in here, one for each person as they sign it. So that's how you get started as setting up a listing. And you'll see that on the documents page that my seller has signed it. It's now, their button's now green.